Hello, Roadrunner fans. This is JJ Perez, and welcome back to another episode of the 13 Questions podcast, where I sit down and talk with different people inside of UTSA football and ask them the same 13 questions throughout this 2023 season. We are in week 3 of the 2023 UTSA football season. The Roadrunners are coming off a gritty 20-13 win over Texas State in week 2. Really not the best of games from UTSA, kind of a scrappy effort. Obviously, some key storylines coming out of that game: the injury to quarterback Frank Harris, the injury to starting right tackle Mekhi Hart, the continued almost dominant play of UTSA's defensive unit, and I guess the struggles overall of the offensive unit. So the Roadrunners are 1-1 through 2 games. That is the same exact record they had at this point last season, but there is a little bit of cause for concern. You know, the offense hasn't looked as crisp as before. Before he suffered a toe injury, quarterback Frank Harris looked like he was rounding into form a little bit more in that game last week against Texas State, but now his status is uncertain for week 3. One thing that is certain has been the play of UTSA's defensive unit. Just 2 really strong games from the defense to start the 2023 season. Basically shutting down what looks to be a pretty good Texas State offensive attack. So it'll be interesting to see how that unit continues to perform this season. Today on the 13 Questions podcast, we are joined by one of the leaders of that unit, redshirt freshman All-American from last season, Trey. Monster redshirt season last year. Got him that All-American status, broke the tackles for loss record by Marcus Davenport, and it's hard to expect him to continue to put up those kind of numbers. But wow, I mean, he had a monster game against Texas State, was everywhere, ended up with three sacks, a career-high 3 sacks. I think he's got 4 on the season. He's on pace for an incredible season. I don't know that we'll continue to see those numbers stack up like that because of how the nature of that position and those kind of stats. But, no fall off in his sophomore season yet. Poised for another big year. And here we go. 13 questions with outside linebacker Trey Moore. JJ Perez here with the 13 Questions podcast. Trey, I started this podcast last year, just asking the guys like random questions about life or whatever. So just get into it. Question number 1. You got to pick a chore to do for 1 year, but if you make it the whole year, you never have to do the chore ever again. What do you want to knock out forever?
Probably cleaning the bathroom. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a big fan of cleaning my bathroom. So you gotta get in there, get a bunch of crevices. It's not fun. So
yeah, that's a good one. I hadn't heard that one a lot. Mine's the trash because I hate doing that. Yeah. Question number 2: can you describe how you are as a spectator watching a football game? I guess on TV.
The biggest thing for me when I'm watching football, I'd be paying close attention to the edge rushers and really the whole D-line and how they're rushing and what they're doing different with their rushes. But the biggest thing for me is, pass rushing.
You go back and rewind like it's film, or you just kind of go through it?
I just go through it.
Yeah, that's all. I know that's hard because it's a different style than when you guys are watching film, right?
Definitely.
Question number 3. What's an app on your phone that you love using and think other people would like?
I'll say the Bible app. I use that one a lot. Yeah. Big highlighter. Just whenever I have time, I just open the Bible app and get some verses in.
Yeah. You big on religion or faith? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Big Christian guy.
How big has that been a part of your life?
Oh, it's huge for me. It's the number one thing, and I give him all the credit for everything that I accomplished. So.
Has that been your whole life? Or oh, wow.
Whole life. Raised that way, yes, sir.
That's awesome. Yep. I think that'll be interesting. People love to hear that about you. Question number 4. If you were allowed to relocate anywhere in the world, the United States, where would you like to live and why?
Anywhere in the world. I've always wanted to go to Switzerland for whatever reason. That in Africa, South Africa, the safari area. I'm a big animal guy. that's for Africa, big animal guy.
Yeah.
And then Switzerland, I've just seen beautiful videos of the landscape and all that stuff. So it seems like a nice place.
Those are 2 great places. I've never been to either one of them. Those would be on my list to at least visit.
Yep.
So, question number 5. I don't think you're real out there on social media, but we'll ask you what do you do when you see a hater on social media, on Twitter or something? Do you block them, mute them, ignore them? Like, I don't think I've ever seen you respond to them. I know some of the guys respond back, but what's that like?
Yeah, I'm not very big on social media, but any of that hate or anything like that, I'm more just someone who, puts it past me. I'm not really going to pay too much mind to it. Negativity isn't my thing, so
there's a lot of negativity out there, right? It's
for
crazy.
Sure.
I mean, I see it. I imagine you guys see more, right?
Yeah, I definitely see a lot of stuff, but to me, it doesn't really affect me. It doesn't really get into my mental space at all.
Question number 6: What makes you laugh during football games? Anything?
Man, I laugh at whatever. Sometimes the biggest thing, just remembering this past Houston game, is when people talk trash to me, I just laugh because talking trash really doesn't do much for me. I'm not a big trash talker, and then when guys try to trash talk me, it doesn't really do anything for me. So I just be laughing at them, and it's just all funny to me. So
what's the last funny trash talk you can remember?
I don't. Houston's O-line was saying a lot of stuff to me, and I would just laugh it off and let them know that wasn't going to affect me. So they were just wasting their breath. But,
That's funny. That's funny. Question
stuff.
number 7: Who's a person you'd be starstruck if you met them?
I don't really get starstruck. Let me think.
Yeah. Maybe another football player you look up to, or
maybe like Tom Brady or something, or Michael Jordan. One of those two. Yeah. One of those two. Yeah.
Yeah. No, those are great answers.
Yep.
Question number 8: What do you do to make yourself feel better when you're having a crappy day?
That's a good question. I guess probably reading my Bible would be another answer for that one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good one. Question number 9: Have you achieved your childhood dream?
No, sir, not yet.
Yeah. What is it?
Playing in the league would be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. You feel like you're on the pathway there at least?
I like to think so from how I've played recently, but just take one game at a time, and hopefully I get there.
Yep. Question number 10: What life lessons from a young age still stick with you as a young adult?
Life lesson, probably just respecting. My dad and my mom are both big on respect, so probably that.
Yeah, you close with your parents?
Yep.
Yeah, awesome.
Yep.
That's great. Question number 11: What is the single most important skill a football player must possess?
I would say a mental thing, and that would be discipline, which I think that's for everything. Anything you do, you need discipline. So for football, probably discipline, yeah.
Sounds good. Question number 12 of 13. You have to lose all of your memories in your football career so far, but you get to keep one. What football memory do you have so far that you want to hold on to forever?
Probably the championship against North Texas.
Yeah.
That was a fun game.
Yeah, just the way it all played out.
Yeah,
right?
that was a fun game.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, question number 13. This will wrap it up for the 13 Questions podcast, Trey. You had a big season last year. Some may say the biggest since a guy named Marcus Davenport around here. You have a lot of pressure to try and duplicate that, or how do you go into this season, trying to still continue to improve?
Yeah, from the outside looking in, it might look like there's a lot of pressure. I don't really feel pressured by it. I've always been someone who really puts a lot of pressure on myself in general throughout my entire life, so I'm kind of just used to it at this point. It's not even pressure to me. I'm very hard on myself. So, like I said, just taking it one game at a time, one rep at a time, put in as much work as I can, and played it with my best effort. And if I have great games, I have great games, and that's great.
Those are weird stats, right? Because you could play well and not necessarily be the guy who makes the tackle for loss, right? It's
exactly.
more of a team. So for you to even have that sort of production in your first real season of playing, that's pretty special. It might be hard to duplicate, right?
Yeah, it probably will be hard to duplicate. I'm not someone who likes to focus on stats too much, just because that you get in your head with stats and stuff. But just playing as best as I can, and with perfect effort. And if I do that, then I'm proud of myself.
One more thing on that. Do you know Marcus, or does that make you feel any certain way that, it was his record you broke and he's the guy that got taken in the first round?
Yeah, no, that's definitely cool. Just because UTSA, we don't have a lot of history.
Right.
And he was, first rounder, and he had the 17 and a half TFLs, I believe it was, and I broke that. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that'll wrap it up, Trey. Appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Appreciate you.
All right, Trey Moore on the 13 Questions podcast. I appreciate Trey for taking the time to do that interview. We actually recorded that after week 1, kind of in between a few different things, an extra interview for Trey, if you will. So I certainly appreciate him taking the time there. Pretty interesting guy. He's not very outspoken, or he doesn't have a big, brash personality. I think he likes to do most of his talking on the field. So, I mean, it's good to learn a little bit more about him. Obviously, faith plays a big role in his life. So, appreciate him sharing that personal detail with us. And, I find the Marcus Davenport record thing very interesting. I mean, right now he is on pace to do some special things. And, I mean, you can't expect him to keep up the sacks and tackle for loss numbers, but I mean, it's wild that he's still actually on pace to do that. So he's never met Marcus, so it'll be interesting to see if and when that time comes. But I certainly appreciate Trey taking the time. I appreciate you all listening. You guys have any comments, questions, feedback, feel free to drop them in the comments. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll be back next week with a guest to be determined. Thanks.